94.3 The Dude is very grateful to our men and women in uniform. We're proud to recognize local members of our military by turning the spotlight on them right now in our Soldier Salute.
Today on the Soldier Salute, we're speaking with U.S. Army retired Sergeant First Class James Flores. So, Sergeant First Class, tell us about you.
I'm originally from Texas, born and raised. Graduated high school just like any other young kid. You really don't know what you want to do or which direction you want to go in life. And I tried to go to college, but I realized that wasn't what I wanted to do. So what I did was I went to the local recruiter, talked to him, and talked with my parents. My dad is a Vietnam veteran, so that was a lot of things that really kept me away from wanting to enlist from the get-go. My uncle was killed in Vietnam. So that was another thing. So I had a lot of decision-making and a lot of pros and cons. When I sat and talked with the recruiter, seeing the world was really what I was thinking about wanting to do. And I was kind of fortunate because when I enlisted, my first duty station was in Korea. And I came back and I got stationed in Fort Stewart, Georgia. From Fort Stewart, Georgia, I went to Germany. From Germany, I came back as a recruiter in Mount Vernon, Illinois. And then from Mount Vernon, Illinois, I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana, where I did my first tour in 2003. We went into Baghdad. Came back in 2004 and then got selected to become a drill sergeant at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. That's how I ended up here. And once I got done with drill sergeant duty, I got sent back to Louisiana, where I got selected to go to Iraq again. So I did my second tour. Once I came back, I had done 15 years active Army, and I was approached and asked if I'd want to be a recruiter for the National Guard. I'm like, well, I think I could do that. So what I did was after 15 years, I transferred from active duty into what they call the AGR, the Active Guard program, and finished off 8 years with the South Carolina Army National Guard as a recruiter.
All right, so Sergeant First Class, a question we always ask. Basic training, you sign up, you get off the bus, you see the drill sergeants. What are you thinking?
The first thing I thought was, holy crap, what did I get into? I honestly called home. Can I just come home, Mom? And she said, as any mom would say, sure, just come on home. I was sitting there thinking, well, how would I get home? Realizing I'm like, nah, there was a reason I left. So I knew it was just a storm and it was just fixing to be past and there would be sunny days in a couple of days. I looked around and there was 64, 65 other soldiers had the same look as me. So we just kind of grouped together, kind of built that brotherly bond, and we knew we'd get through it together. So that's really what got me through when actually my battle buddies. But the bonds that you build with your battle buddies, unless you've been there and you've done it with it, it's kind of hard to explain. The brothers that you have forever.
Sergeant First Class, you've got 20 plus years in serving not only the National Guard, but active duty Army as well. What really was your favorite thing about serving your country for all those years?
The mentoring the soldiers, especially whenever I was a platoon sergeant. I was in charge of 64 soldiers. And when you take a platoon of soldiers, not only do you take the soldiers, you actually take in their families. And what I had to do was I had to prepare them the second tour to Iraq on what to expect, what's coming. Not only that, you had to prepare their families. And that's kind of hard because you're telling the families that I have your spouse, my soldier, and we're going to be gone for 12 months. How do you really explain that to them? And so what you have to do is you have to make sure that not only yourself, because, I had to take care of my wife, my kids, and taking care of their wives and their kids to make sure that they're well taken care of. And if they have any situations that arise, make sure they have the contacts and make sure that they know where to go in case they ever need any help while we were gone.
Sergeant First Class, you've got 20 some odd years in the military, in the Army, serving your country. You've got a family. How did you balance your family with your career and your service to the country? You've deployed, you're up and down the country, serving different posts. How did you balance all that?
At first, you really don't realize what you're balancing. I have a great wife. She was the backbone of the family. Not only was she just my spouse, but she was also a soldier. So she was serving at the same time. She actually took care of the girls while I deployed for 2 deployments, which are 2 years. Then I want to say 2010, the roles reversed and she deployed for a year. So I had to take that experience and be a stay-at-home dad and try to figure out how to raise these girls. So honestly, you really don't realize it. It's just being part of a parent. You just kind of just take in the role and just take care of your family. But it has to be my wife. She was the glue that kept the family together. So, it's really just the family support that got us through everything.
Sergeant First Class, if someone's listening maybe who is considering the military, whether it's for school, to see the world, what do you think someone who's on the fence needs to have in their mind to help making that decision?
You've got to make sure that you're strong-willed and strong-minded. A lot of what I run into was a lot of students, like in high school, they're in a comfort zone. If you're not comfortable leaving that comfort zone, then what are the chances of you really stepping out and doing something different? It's a great experience. It has given me what I have. It's paid for my school. It's paid for my wife's school. It's paid for my kids' school. It's given me opportunities that most employers really looking for because you have hands-on experience, you have education. What I would say is if it's something that you're really thinking about, actually sit down and talk with a recruiter, weigh out the options, not just take the recruiter's opinions, but with your family members. Most family members have military experience in the family. So just go around, and it's kind of like shopping for a new car. I might like a Volkswagen, you might like a Chevy, so it just depends. Just kind of fill it out and see, because everybody has their own opinions, so until you actually step out and try it, you can't go on and listen to what other people say. The best thing is to go out there and just try it.
Sergeant First Class, you served well over 20 years in the Army and, of course, the South Carolina National Guard Army as well. You put on a lot of uniforms and wore them for a long, long time. What did you think when you walk out the door, look in the mirror and say, man, I get to be a soldier?
At first, when I first enlisted, it was just like, okay. It's like, okay. But, the more and the more years and the more experience you gain, you didn't realize how patriotic you become and realize what this country means, especially the American flag. And you take pride in that. And every day, it started building up where you represented what the soldier is, and you represent the United States of America and that American flag. So it meant a lot every morning to make sure you had that persona, that image that people expect. Okay, this soldier's, he's squared away, and he's really what represents us, and he's, guarding our freedom. And I took a lot of pride in that.
Thanks for joining us in our Soldier Salute. This salute to our local soldiers on 94.3 The Dude is presented by Little Pigs Barbecue, serving Columbia since 1963, and All American Heating and Air, American and proud of it.